But Sean Hannity is next from New York City. Hey, Sean.
A lot of robots. They work in our industry. It's all groupthink. It's like one big bubble, and they all talk to each other, and they all say the same cliches, talking points. Pretty amazing. I'm never going on your quiz show, by the way, ever. I'm not doing it.
You'd win. Come on.
I sit there at home, and I'm always the last one with the buzzer on Jeopardy, so I'm not doing it. All right, have a good show tonight. Thank you, and welcome to Hannity. All right, a lot of breaking news tonight. Pressure is now mounting on the Attorney General of the United States tonight, Jeff Sessions. Robert Mueller's partisan witch hunt is now completely jumped off the rails, and yet real crimes, a collusion, featuring Hillary's bought and paid for dirty Russian dossier, are totally ignored. We have rampant FISA abuse, FISA judges lied to, all unchecked, bias, corruption, nepotism at the highest levels of our federal bureaucracy, all going unpunished. Jeff Sessions nowhere to be found. It's sad. And during his interview with Ainsley Earhardt, the president slammed his absentee attorney general. We're going to show you the tape. And as Mueller's witch hunt is raging on, we'll show you how one Manafort juror trashes the special counsel. Plus, we have all the latest examples from the media's obsession of the day. You're going to love it. Impeachment. Impeached 222 times in a day. We got all of them tonight. We're going to use the Mueller model also, Hannity investigation. We, with the help of a brand new book that is now destined to be a bestseller, it's shining a light on the lucrative revolving door. A lot of FBI, DOJ guys, government guys, private sector, millions of dollars. Wait till you hear the millions of dollars James Comey and Robert Mueller himself made. And we'll also cover the horrific, sad, tragic murder of Molly Tibbetts, all at the hands of an illegal immigrant. Some on the left are so absolutely cruel to the victim of what is a senseless act of violence that if we start protecting people, we can stop this. All right, stay tuned. We got a jam-packed opening monologue as we kick it off. All right, less than 1 month after being sworn in, the Attorney General, Jeff Sessions, he abandoned his post, completely recused himself from all things Russia and Hillary. This has been a tremendous disservice to the president and the country that he serves. Now, knowing he would do this, he did have an obligation to tell the president of the United States. Now, here we are a year and a half later. Look what the Russia investigation has become. Sessions recused himself from all of it. It's now morphed into, let's see, New York taxi cab medallions, taxes, tax forms and counts, bank applications, fraud, payouts to porn stars, and what is a partisan witch hunt against the president and, frankly, everyone around him. An unmitigated disaster for so many personally, lives upended and literally uprooted, and the entire country as a result. During his interview with Ainsley Earhardt, the president had this to say about his absentee attorney general. Let's take a look.
Will you fire Sessions?
Well, I'll tell you what. As I've said, I wanted to stay uninvolved. But when everybody sees what's going on in the Justice Department, I always put justice now with quotes, it's a very, very sad day. Jeff Sessions recused himself, which he shouldn't have done, or he should have told me. Even my enemies say that Jeff Sessions should have told you that he was going to recuse himself, and then you wouldn't have put him in. He took the job, and then he said, I'm going to recuse myself. I said, what kind of a man is this? And by the way, he was on the campaign. You know, the only reason I gave him the job because I felt loyalty. He was an original supporter. He was on the campaign. He knows there was no collusion.
Why hasn't Jeff Sessions done a thing? And today, Sessions, then, what does he do? He indirectly responds to the president in a statement. Well, Rod Rosenstein maybe wrote it in part. While I am Attorney General, the actions of the Department of Justice will not be improperly influenced by political considerations. Okay, is the Attorney General, Jeff, I've known you for years. Do you not realize the shocking two-tiered system of justice in the country under your rule? He believed that Hillary Clinton violated the law with that private server that had top secret classified information, intelligence. Does he believe she obstructed justice? 33,000 subpoenaed emails erased, hard drives erased, devices destroyed. Does the Attorney General, is he concerned at all that Hillary's exoneration was written as early as May of 2016 by Peter Strzok, James Comey, before 17 witnesses, even Hillary, were even interviewed. Attorney General Sessions, do you believe that FISA court judges were lied to? Are you concerned that multiple FISA applications didn't reveal that Hillary Clinton and the DNC paid for the dirty Russian dossier, Russian influence in the election? Is the Attorney General concerned? No one in the FBI ever bothered to verify, corroborate independently the contents of the dirt. In other words, Mr. Attorney General, where are you? Now, I did contact the Attorney General's office today. They were kind enough to get back to me. But like a lot of things, they said they can't talk about ongoing or potentially ongoing investigations. It gives us no information. We don't see anything. Nothing. We got the Horowitz report. When are we going to get to the bottom? When are these people that have abused their power ever going to get the indictments they deserve? We have a two-tier justice system. If that's the case, just let us know now. We'll all give up. Because if we have a two-tier justice system for the president's decision to fire the attorney general, here's what's really happening. It's much deeper. The president clearly has lost confidence in the attorney general. And frankly, based on his comments today, the attorney general doesn't seem to like the president either. But the president, he does have the absolute power to fire the attorney general. But the president also knows politically, because of the Mueller witch hunt and everything that has ensued, he's not going to get a fair shake. And the media will go absolutely nuts. The Democrats will go insane. The attorney general is incapable, seemingly, of understanding a massive double standard that has emerged in America. He is a top law enforcement officer, two-tier justice system. That's what's going on in the country. Mr. Attorney General, speak to us. Do you care? Meanwhile, unbridled by a real mandate, look at Mueller's witch hunt. Rolls on. The one focused on anything and everything except Trump-Russia collusion. The one that ignores mountains of evidence that we have broken, much of which on this program. A lot of it includes Russia. It is a travesty in the American system of justice. Paul Manafort found guilty, charges, never would have been investigated if that man wasn't appointed in this witch hunt. Nothing to do with Russian collusion, nothing to do with Trump, nothing to do with the campaign of 2016. Michael Cohen's plea deal, nothing to do with Russia, collusion, the 2016 campaign, and implicated the president in no crimes. Even Alan Dershowitz, liberal professor from Harvard, he actually bravely went on conspiracy TV, MSNBC, to spread a little bit of reality and truth to the absolute shock and awe of one host. This is priceless. Take a look.
Prosecutors have said Michael Cohen broke the law, and Michael Cohen says the president told me to do it. You said last night as well that you believe that every president breaks the law during an election. I mean, really? Does that make it okay?
I said
your quote is that every candidate violates election law. And isn't that moving the goalposts?
You're not letting me make my point. My point is the president doesn't break the law if, as a candidate, he contributes to his own campaign. So if he gave $1 million to two women as hush money, there would be no crime.
Here's the face of someone that lives in that media bubble that Tucker and I were talking about, seemingly hearing the truth for the very first time. It is so obvious the mainstream media has been doing the Democrats' bidding, and this has been going on for a long time. They loved Obama. They never talked about Obama's failures. They loved Hillary Clinton, openly rooting in this case for Donald Trump to be impeached. Perfectly demonstrated and held when he called for impeachment. This is priceless, too.
I supported the impeachment of Bill Clinton in '98 because I think he had disgraced his office and he had committed perjury. I think it is consistent on conservatives and Republicans to support the same for President Trump now, given that the Congress has an obligation, and it's why Democrats should be put in office in November.
Good luck to you, brother.
These people don't know the law. They don't know the Constitution. They're a bunch of talking head idiots. They do no research. They do no investigative reporting. What you just saw is a small example of the media's nonstop, breathless obsession, Trump impeachment. Look at Newsbuster studies, CBS, NBC touting impeachment on their nightly broadcast. Get this. Yesterday, over at fake news CNN, conspiracy TV, MSNBC, the word impeachment is mentioned a whopping 222 times. For nearly 3 days, this impeachment hysteria peddling, it's been nonstop. Don't believe me? We got the tape.
Given the events of today, the likelihood of impeachment, I'm not saying it's high necessarily, but it certainly went up.
Impeachment.
Impeached.
Impeachment. Impeachment.
Impeachment.
Impeachment.
Impeachment.
Impeachment.
The president is clearly guilty of high crimes and misdemeanors. He should resign his office or be impeached.
Today, the Trump presidency took a giant step toward impeachment.
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 Impeachment implications are now in the air.
Impeachment.
Impeachment.
Impeachment. Impeachment.
If it is a crime, it certainly is an impeachable offense.
Impeach Trump.
Impeachment.
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 Impeachment is a word in play here in Washington today. The impeachment.
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 Impeachment. Impeachment here.
Impeachment.
Impeachment.
Should the president be impeached?
Impeachment.
Impeachment.
There are Democrats who say there's now more than enough to impeach.
Is itself an impeachable offense.
Consider something as serious as impeachment.
Impeachment.
The impeachment process.
Impeachment.
Impeachment.
The president will be removed from office after an impeachment trial.
On the impeachment issue,
Talk about impeachment.
Want to talk about impeachment?
impeachment right now,
Do not talk about impeachment.
Like remember when they were saying, shh, hole. Well, that's basically what you're getting in so-called news coverage. There you have it, the echo chamber at its worst. And sadly, this from another force looking to take down the presidency. That's the deep state. All right, so everyone in the deep state, they don't talk about Russia collusion 2016, Trump, Russia anymore. No, instead they have decided, well, they can't find anything there, so let's move on to anything and everything else besides Russia. And Clinton paying for Russian lies to get warrants on people, presenting them to judges, lying to judges, fraud on judges as if they're gospel truth, but they never verified it. Tonight we're going to let's follow the Democrat Mueller model. We're going to investigate the investigators, and we're going to follow the money. There's a new book from the Government Accountability Institute, Seamus Bruner. It's titled Compromise. This is the same people that gave us Clinton Cash. Remember the best-selling book? Peter Schweitzer told us all about Uranium One. Still haven't got to the bottom of that either. This is how money and politics drive FBI corruption. Now, it is shining a light tonight on one troubling aspect of the deep state. Oh, and the FBI even. At the top levels, not rank and file. They have a revolving door between the federal government and the private sector. And the amount of money is staggering. According to Bruner in his new report, top bureaucratic sycophants leveraging their government experience and, security clearances mean money. And after he left the DOJ in 2005, in 1 year alone, 2009, he made $6.1 million for his work. Integrity Comey? I don't remember him ever telling us this. And this came shortly, by the way, after the FBI, then under Comey, best friend forever, BFF Robert Mueller, granted a huge billion-dollar, boondoggle project to Lockheed Martin that some, see for what it is. And after he doled out contracts to as the FBI director. And according to this book, two of Mueller's former clients were Facebook and Apple. Guess what? They're cooperating with the special counsel investigation. Oh, can you say conflict of interest? How is it possible we've never heard about any of this before? Now, if you think this sounds sketchy, corrupt, and a little bit of financial incestuous behavior here, because it is. Now, government officials using their status, leverage, and by the way, in all fairness, it may not be nefarious, professional, background, experience, all while acting like irreproachable super patriots. Remember, they knew better than. We're going to talk to Seamus Brewer and Peter Schweitzer. First, let's turn to the horrific, sad tragedy that has happened in the case of Molly Tibbetts, an illegal immigrant confessing to her murder. Suspect called his illegal immigrant client, quote, an all-American kid. And just moments ago, the defense attorney gave a bizarre interview with our own Martha McCallum. Take a look.
We know that he's an illegal immigrant who arrived from Mexico and has lived in Iowa for 4 to 7 years. So I fail to see how that's irrelevant or how bringing that in is not not part of the facts that surround this case. How is it not?
That's rhetoric.
He came here illegally is just part of the equation. So to say that that's bringing politics into it, I think you're putting rhetoric and point of view on it.
Well, you're trying to say that his state of mind was in such a way. We're dealing with an individual that has a middle school education, so his perception is entitled to equal protection and due process. Now, you can jump to it and just say, these are the facts, but that doesn't make them facts because you say so, Martha.
They plead guilty today? Did this girl die? I showed you how one MSNBC guest called Tibbetts, quote, a girl from Iowa that Fox News talks about. And now the rhetoric from Elizabeth Warren, frankly, just as heartless. Let's take a look at liberal compassion.
Sorry for the family here, and I know this is hard, not only for the family, but for the people in her community, the people throughout Iowa. But one of the things we have to remember is we need an immigration system that is effective, that focuses on where real problems are. Last month, I went down to the border, and I saw where children had been taken away from their mothers. I met with those mothers.
Actually, Donald Trump fixed that, Elizabeth. And where were you in the Obama years when it happened? Pretty despicable, all political. We'll have more on this horrific, horrible death later in the show. All right, joining us now first with more on the government's revolving door, the author of the brand new book, Compromised: How Money and Politics, as we've been saying, Drive FBI Corruption. Associate Director of Research for the Government Accountability Institute, Seamus Bruner, the President of the Government Accountability Institute. Their background, their experience. What I'm concerned about is, look at the James Comey case. So he worked for Lockheed Martin from 2005 to 10?
Correct.
Okay. Did he ever disclose all of this relationship before? Because we only have the amount of money he made for 1 year. That would be 2009. Is that correct?
That's correct, although we did follow the money and found that there were at least 160,000 stock options.
We know that James Comey, you're saying, made $36 million at least, most of it in 2009, or some of that stock could have been from earlier years, 2005 to 2009.
Correct. From 2005 to 2009. By 2009, James Comey has over 160,000 shares of Lockheed Martin stock in 2009.
And didn't the top representatives, didn't they give him power of attorney to sign off on contracts, if I remember reading in your book?
Correct.
Okay. And by the way,
Lockheed
Martin is great, but they have billions of dollars in government contracts. They were working on, I guess, the next generation of human identification technology, for example.
That's correct. Among many people think of Lockheed Martin as a jet manufacturer, but in fact, their IT and computer technology department is one of their largest divisions.
Okay, so
well, yeah, no, it's great
at least
work, and I want to make that clear.
$36 million, but we don't know the salary for 4 of the 5 years that Comey made. Stock options and $6.1 million in 1 year, correct? That's what we know about. $36 million.
That's correct.
With Comey help?
Well, we're talking about hundreds of millions of dollars in these contracts, and even $1 billion. So it strains credulity to think that Robert Mueller did not sign off on
because this would be for the FBI. Peter, let's bring you in and let you give some context and texture here. And again, maybe it's not nefarious at all. I don't know. That is an insane amount of money. And the fact that it's the two guys, did they both sign off on this?
Yeah, I mean, if you're the FBI director, say you're Robert Mueller or you're James Comey, and you have major intelligence contracts as the FBI director, you're going to be those that are competitive contracts. You get complaints. For example, IBM complained about the Lockheed Martin contract, the bidding process, and how that was carried forward. It's a classic example of crony capitalism, and as much as people might want to think that when you walk into the J. Edgar Hoover building, suddenly human nature.
This is an important question, because it doesn't necessarily have to be nefarious. Did they disclose all of this? Because I never knew about any of it, and I read a lot about these men.
Not disclose the gaps, so there are serious gaps that we don't know how much money was made.
And we need to find out about the other 4 years. We'll have more on this soon. Joe Genova, David Schoen, next.
The president's entitled to an attorney general he has faith in, somebody that's qualified for the job. And I think there will come a time, sooner rather than later, where it will be time to have a new face and a fresh voice at the Department of Justice. Clearly, Attorney General Sessions doesn't have the competence of the President, and all I can say is that I have a lot of respect for the Attorney General, but that's an important office in the country, and after the election, I think there will be some serious discussions about a new Attorney General.
Senator Lindsey Graham earlier today making an often forgotten point that the president ought to have an attorney general he has faith in, he trusts. Clearly, there's a crisis of confidence. Sarah Carter, brand new piece out tonight entitled, quote, "Time for Sessions to Leave the DOJ, Senior Senate Leaders Say." Here with the reaction, author of the #1 New York Times bestseller, Currently, The Russian Hoax, the illicit scheme to clear Hillary Clinton, frame Donald Trump, Greg Jarrett, and Fox News investigative reporter and contributor Sarah Carter. Sarah, we'll start with your report here. Obviously, the president's lost confidence. Obviously, too, Jeff Sessions doesn't really seem to like the president. It's pretty obvious with his statement today. Obviously, all these issues, I put a series of questions in my monologue. I don't know if you heard it, but I put those to the Department of Justice today. I did get an answer. Sarah Flores, their spokesperson, and it's a fair answer. They don't talk about ongoing investigations or potential investigations. I get it. They can't talk about it, but we don't see anything. All we hear, it's every minute detail about taxi cabs and porn stars and all the nonsense of bank applications, nothing about Russia campaign, Trump, 2016.
President Trump and Attorney General Jeff Sessions is severed. It's doing more damage to the country and the administration than having him there. And I think there's a vision to resign. And I think that would be the best thing for the country and for the administration.
I've known this man for years, and I've always liked him. I don't want to talk, but I cannot believe the paralysis here. I cannot believe. Fine, if he felt the need to recuse, he should have told the president. Salt Lake City, we got an inspector general report. Where's the special counsel here? Because we know that FISA court judges were lied to. We know. Why wouldn't they concern themselves about at least one subject dealing with Russia interference and Hillary paying for the interference?
He needs investigating. Remember, there's 27 leak investigations at the Department of Justice ongoing. But we're left completely in the dark, Sean. We don't know what's going on with that cut of a conversation.
A crime. A crime was committed.
Crimes were committed.
All right.
Yes.
Well, we know Hillary committed crimes and obstructed, Greg. It's irrefutable. The evidence is overwhelming and incontrovertible. We also know that FISA judges were lied to. Russian lies bought and paid for by Hillary, and they signed off without verifying and corroborating. They're not allowed to do that. If I lied to a judge, if I deleted and destroyed evidence that was subpoenaed.
Immediately reopened the Hillary Clinton email case. He should have immediately launched an investigation into the law enforcers who became lawbreakers, and especially the FISA case. I mean, it is at least 6 different felonies to use an unverified, phony document. He was sworn in that he was going to recuse himself. He testified before Congress.
By the way, he cited the
set
wrong
it in
law.
motion the next day.
He cited the wrong law during his recusal.
You know, it makes you wonder, did he even read the regulation that he cited? He would have realized, oh, this is a counterintelligence probe and recusal is in criminal cases only. And that's one of the many things that has angered President Trump, that this is a guy who immediately upon being sworn in breached the confidence and trust of the president.
We have this new book out. It exposes information I never knew about. We just found out $36 million paid to Jim Comey, who works for Lockheed Martin. And I don't know that anything nefarious. I believe in the capitalist system. You're a former FBI director. You value is high in the private sector. I agree with that. But then the contracts with Lockheed Martin, and they get billions in government contracts, they're going through Mueller's FBI. Did either of you hear about this before tonight?
Well, I heard about it about 10 days ago because I got an advance copy of the book. And
okay. Point made. Exactly.
I mean, but it's stunning to me. This is a revolving door of government service and big business in which people like James Comey are enriching themselves by trading on and leveraging their friendship.
Sarah, shouldn't we have heard 36? By the way, we still don't know his salary for 4 other years.
That's right. And you think there would be some kind of disclosure, friends, and basically slowing down the process of research and development. And here with Comey, we see it happening with the FBI. We also saw it happening at State Department.
Why don't they have to disclose these relationships? Get the full picture. How many other stock options might he have gotten?
Well, it should be against the law for a government official like Mueller to lavish a no-bid contract on a company in which a longtime friend and ally is working.
You're sure it's no bid?
That's right.
According to the book.
Wow. Unbelievable.
They're saying.
All right, guys, keep up the good work. And
Thank you.
Be careful about late night, early morning knocks on your door. When you tell the truth in America, apparently that's a problem. Thank you both. When we come back, President Trump slamming Democrats over illegal immigration, border security, following the murder of Iowa college student, this young woman, Molly Tibbetts. Jessica, they're next.
Molly is this beautiful young girl who I watched the father, he kept saying, I sort of doubted it was going to happen. She's coming back. Mm-hmm. She just left, but she's coming back. And I'd say, that's called hope. And it's a beautiful thing in a way. It's hope. But now there's no hope. She was killed by a horrible person that came in from Mexico, illegally here. The immigration laws are horrible. We're doing an incredible job. We're doing a record-breaking job, but we have bad laws. You know, when you have bad laws, you can do good, but you can do a lot better if you had good laws.
The president yesterday calling for better immigration laws following the murder of Molly Tibbetts. Just the latest heartbreaking death at the hands of an illegal immigrant. Joining us now with reaction, he has two shows. The co-host of The Five, a host of Waters World, Jesse Waters, Fox News contributor Jessica Tarlov. Good to see you both. I don't even know what to say. Kate Steinle, I sat through, having gone down to the border 12 times. Rio Grande, San Diego, drug warehouses, horseback, all-terrain vehicle, helicopters, boats. Okay? Seen it all. Been there when gang members were arrested. And human trafficking and drug trafficking continues. Then we have Kate Steinle. Then we have this case. 642,000 Texans in a 7-year period, victims of crime. It goes from murder, it goes all the way down to petty crimes. Why don't we build the wall? Why did Democrats, the president offered that these kids, the dreamers, stay, build the wall. Why didn't he take that deal?
Senator Schumer did offer a deal that would have gotten him money for his border wall funding, and he turned,
Full funding for the wall.
It didn't have the $25 billion in
full funding for the wall. You get the dreamers that they care about.
Yes, of course. Apparently both sides care about dreamers, which is nice. But President Trump only wants this on his terms. He wants an immigration system, a merit-based immigration system, to mess with the lottery system, to do a lot of things that Democrats are not on board.
Is it wrong to vet people that want to come here?
No, of course it's not wrong to vet people.
We should vet every person that comes here.
Yes, we absolutely should.
Wow, I mean, that's a big improvement from the open borders talk we've been hearing from your party. And the reason we didn't get the funding is we had the crying Schumer shutdown. Remember what happened there? My point is, if people keep breaking into your house, Jessica, what would you do about it?
Oh, I would lock my door, Jesse.
So why don't you want the country to lock its doors?
The doors to the country are pretty well locked. You have
Not locked enough. Look at Molly Tibbetts.
40% here are on visa.
Molly Tibbetts died because the country's doors were not protected.
It is a tragedy what happened to Molly Tibbetts. No one should take that lightly. Anyone who is taking it lightly.
Slow down. You didn't answer Jesse's question. Hold on. It's the most important question. You would lock your doors. We don't have our doors locked.
Well, first of all, there are a number of people, including Republicans, who are even from border states who do not think that the wall is safe.
Answer Jesse's question, though. It's an important question.
I did. I think that we can look at this. There are Democrats who are saying that we should look at it. But you are also...
Some Democrats are saying they want to abolish ICE. Elizabeth Warren, Kamala Harris, Kirsten Gillibrand. They want to get rid of ICE.
No one is abolishing ICE.
You get rid
Also,
of
ICE was
you get
created
rid
in
of the protection that
2003.
America's needs.
You're acting like that's like get rid of the army. That's
well,
not,
I'm just proud Democrats want to abolish an agency. I mean, usually they want to build up the government instead of chip it down. But the one thing they want to get rid of is the one thing that keeps us safe. They called ICE members Nazis the other day, and ICE literally just deported a Nazi back to Germany.
I have not said that I want to abolish ICE. I think it is fantastic when we deport any
Jessica,
Nazis out of this country.
You're deflecting.
No, I'm not.
No. Okay. He's pointing out specific names of Democrats that do want to abolish ICE. They want open borders. They don't want to fund the wall, which means that the dreamers
They don't want open borders. That's the thing.
No?
No,
if you don't have the wall,
that.
then how do you protect the border?
Well, you have all the build of border agents, which you have the Gang of 8 bill actually was going to put more border agents
What are you going to
along
line
there.
up 5 million border agents along every
Well, that
mile
would be
of the wall?
a lot of jobs for President Trump. I think that the main issue here is
I think we've gotten a lot more jobs out of President Trump than President Obama.
Well, that's
also.
actually not true.
And I think the job we need to do is secure the border. That is the federal government's most important job, and they've failed. And Washington politicians have blood on their hands. Jamil Shaw, Kate Steinle, Molly Tibbetts. When is enough enough?
Oh, enough is enough right now, and enough is enough
So
with
fund the
school
border
shooting.
wall.
It's not just that.
Hey,
This
Jessica,
is like,
repeat after me. Build that wall.
No, absolutely not. I'd like to talk about statistics for a second. The illegal
that's not a good
immigrant-
area for you.
Yes, it is. Why? The illegal immigrant population in this country commits far less crime than natural-born citizens. The
So you're
demonization.
saying we should,
no, there is.
We should fight crime based on who commits it.
By the way,
No,
where
but
did you get
should.
these statistics from?
What do you
Sean,
mean?
Where? Where did you get them from?
There's a chart.
According to who?
That one comes right out of the Washington Post.
Sean, that's like saying
The Washington Post.
What does that mean?
That's
the
like
Washington
saying
Post-
females speed
I
less
wish-
than males, so
you guys,
cops should look the other
if
way.
we were having
when
this
a-
conversation after a school shooting,
I gotta leave.
you guys would not
Hang
care
on.
at all. No changes would be made.
Guys, it's too sensitive a topic. No winners tonight. Thank you both for being with us. Campus reform, asking New Yorkers what they think about Cuomo's dumb comments. Straight ahead.